Okay, let's get started. Good morning to all of you, and thank you very much for taking time off on your Sunday to spend it with me. We are going to today talk about what are called as the foundations of resilience. We will define what is resilience. Many people get confused as to what is resilience. They don't know the meaning of the word. It's a bit of an alien word to many people. And we'll define what resilience is. And then we'll also tell you what are the foundations and how we in our programs produce those foundations and create what is called resilience mastery. So I am a neurologist, neurosurgeon, brain health and resilience coach. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Dr. Prithika Chary. And I'm still actively practicing in the neurosciences. I have been practicing in the city of Chennai for the past 45 years. And the Brain Health and Resilience Initiative, I started during COVID as an online program. Earlier to that, I have an initiative called Creative Karma. And we've been doing various stress management and various brain training kind of workshops offline for many years, from 1994 to be exact. And we have addressed various audiences, school students, college students, teachers, the people from the Indian Institutes of Management. We've addressed group captains and air commodores, border security force, senior executives of banks and Reserve Bank, Punjab National Bank, etc. And lots of corporates as well. So the whole theme of what we used to do were mainly stress management workshops and also motivational and self-development, personal development kind of orientation. Because of COVID and during COVID time, I decided that we needed to focus more on mental health. And that since with my knowledge of the brain, I can bring unique solutions to the brain health arena. And that we all have to start bouncing back and learn how to navigate the difficulties we all faced during COVID. And so that was the intention with which I started this, a flagship program called Be Your Best with Dr. Prithika Chary. We kept it simple. We said be your best in every way, not in any particular way, so that you are a whole human being and you have a holistic well-being, both in your physical, mental, emotional, spiritual areas of your well-being. So that's just a background to who I am and what I am. So we can get started now. And what I'm going to share with you today is how we can take why what happens to us happens, and how we can take that into a better way in our lives, no matter where we are and no matter what is happening to us, how we can proceed by being resilient to improve our lives. See, life happens to all of us. It is not unique to only some people. It's like a roller coaster ride. There are ups, there are downs, there are twists, there are turns. But what we have to learn to do is not allow life to take over and diminish us, but to enjoy the thrill of the roller coaster ride in spite of all the deviations and difficulties that we undergo. So I'm going to ask each one of you, I want you all to temporarily switch on your video just for a little while so that I'm able to see your responses to this. Tell me, how do each one of you typically respond when you're faced with a difficulty or a situation or setback in your life? So please unmute and share your experience with me. Yes, Chitra. When you're faced with a setback, what is your typical reaction?
I will be expecting something, and I became totally upset that nothing can be done.
Okay. you can finish answering the other two questions also. At that time, you said, what emotions or feelings do you
Yeah.
tend to feel? You said you get upset.
Yeah.
Then, once you get some kind of solution, do you find it challenging to bounce back from the setback? Or
Yeah.
do you
Yeah.
tend to dwell in that for an extended period?
Yeah. Tend to dwell.
Okay. So that means that is what many of us do. And that means that we need to build our resilience.
Yeah.
Okay. Ramesh, would you like to share, sir? How do you typically respond when you are faced with a difficult situation or a setback in life?
uh, Devastated for quite some time, and
Okay.
it takes probably from a small amount of time to even a few days to recover from that blow.
Few days or
Uh,
few weeks or few months?
Sometimes it's certain things have taken decades even.
Fine. So you have answered all the three questions. Aisha, would you like to answer?
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am,
Aisha. Hmm. When you're faced with a difficulty, how do you respond?
ma'am, first I check myself first. Then start
I'm not
thinking.
asking what do you do. I'm saying how do you feel? Do you think you can handle it? Or do you get upset, desperate?
Upset. I
Oh, no,
first
no,
get
I
upset.
need help. I need help.
I need help. I need help. First I get upset. Second I need help. And third is I start confusion. So many negative thoughts come and block me.
And it goes on for a long time or just a few days or few weeks?
And it takes some weeks, ma'am.
Okay, fine. Mr. Venugopal, do you want to be part of the discussion, sir?
Well, basically, whenever a difficult scenario comes, the first thing I do is try to understand why the difficulty came about. I look at all the perspective of it, try to understand it. And that's a habit I have been, there. And people think that I overthink, but I actually look at all sides of it. And what all emotions are coming up, I rework on that and trying to understand how it is getting affected to me and more or less how it is getting affected to the other people around me.
That's important because sometimes what we are doing, we are so focused on how it's affecting us, we sometimes fail to recognize the impact that our behavior as well as the situation is causing on people around us.
And definitely it becomes a challenging thing because our perspective is we are trying to understand others. Maybe the others are not ready to understand us at that level. So what happens is they will keep on pushing you to that corner only again and again, thinking that they are right. And definitely nobody is right or wrong as per me.
Exactly.
So they are not even ready to open up and understand, okay, something can be listened and something can be learned and we all have to grow. We cannot stop growing. And that becomes an issue sometimes.
Yeah. So different perspectives. Each one of us looks at a situation through different colored glasses. So because each one has their own perspective. So that adds to the challenge, especially if your challenge involves other people as well in the decision-making process. So thank you all for your wonderful replies. So let us proceed. Understand that life happens to all of us. And it's not what happens to all of us, but how we take it. Like all of you answered the question on how you respond to a life difficulty or a life situation. And if you really decide, you have to decide, are you going to be a victim and give in to the situation or the difficulty? Or are you going to get, like Mr. Venugopal said, marshal all your resources, evaluate the situation, and develop a plan of action so that you can go ahead with your life and achieve whatever you dreamed of. So, this is the crux of what is called as resilience. So, in effect, it is taking charge of your health and well being. Please understand that any kind of stress, any kind of difficulty, it all depends on our fundamental health and well being. See, why should I, as a doctor, want to take up brain health and resilience coaching? The reason is because the fundamental bottom line for us to live our lives well and to face our lives well is taking charge of our health and well-being in all areas. We are talking about mental well-being, physical well-being, emotional well-being, spiritual well-being, the whole lot. And we are also talking about something known as the adversity quotient. See, adversity quotient is our ability, the strength we have to bounce back after a difficulty. So it's all right for us to fall. Many of us fall, but the whole trick is to learn to get up and keep going. So let us see why all this happens to us. See, basically, we are all born complete, whole, blessed with a lot of talent, a lot of hope, a lot of energy, a lot of abilities. But what happens? The culturescape buries us in horse crap. So you are not, the diamond doesn't shine. The diamond is not showing up. This process begins right from birth itself. See, we are so cozy and protected and loved and cherished inside the mother's womb. And what happens when we are born? We are suddenly thrown into a strange new world. Now, this is a kind of shock for our entire biology. And this shock actually determines our first ability to tolerate any kind of stress or challenge to our well-being. None of you would have thought of it from that point of view, I'm sure. But that is where it starts. Then, as babies, we learn that there are certain ways in which we can get comfort, we can get protection, we can get love, we can get food, whatever we require. When we are uncomfortable, we can let people know. We know all that. So we are learning as babies on how to build that up. And we also learn over time that if you can smile at me, you can laugh and enjoy being with me. I'm a baby. I will thrive when you're kind and patient with me. When you have a sense of wonder, you accept what I'm feeling. When you listen and talk to me, sing and read to me. When you comfort and cuddle me. So all of these well-being initiatives we understand as babies, and it builds up. We're able to accept that, the strange, big, bad world into which we were suddenly thrown has its merits, has its benefits, has its good points. But we also learn that there is a price to pay if we don't conform with certain rules. So this begins the programming of our brains. And childhood programming very often is with must and should. Our parents tell us, you must do this. You should do this way. Our teachers tell us. So what happens? This open, free, relaxed, happy brain is beginning to build certain reservations, certain blocks, and says, if I don't do it this way, I have a consequence to face. And so we start this childhood programming of our brains, which actually determines the way we think as adults. And to add to this is the influence of evolution. Our brains developed in 3 stages. The first stage was what is called as the reptilian brain. In the mature human adult, it is represented by the brain stem and the basal ganglia. Now, the purpose of the reptilian brain is survival. It is when there is a stress, you either fight or flight or freeze. So these are the fundamental basic responses to keep us safe. And this is the overriding action of the brain. Even once you become a mature adult and you have the other layers of the brain on top of it. But in a situation, the first thing to respond will be your fight and flight or your reptilian brain, whose role is to protect you from danger. The second layer of brain is called the emotional brain or the limbic brain. Now, this is our emotional brain, and we learned over time that life is more than just survival, that there is love, there is fear, there is rage, there are the fundamental emotions, all of this. And we have to learn to manage these emotions in order for us to be happy and for us to be able to get along with people around us. Now, this in the adult brain is represented by what is called as the limbic system. The third layer, which made us humans and made us these thinking, rational, analyzing, judging kind of human beings, is the new cortex or the neocortex, which is all of this upper part of the brain, the cerebral hemispheres, as they are called. And this has a right side and a left side with slightly differential functions, though both are capable of doing each other's function. Now, in this brain, the neocortex, the front of the brain, called the prefrontal cortex, became a very, very important element because that is what is called as our executive brain. That is the rational brain, which helps us to sort out what is good for us, what is bad for us, what is risk for us, what is threatening to us, etc. And over time, as we mature as adults, we mature this part of the brain, which, for your information, is not fully developed till adolescence. It undergoes its second growth spurt of the brain to develop this part of the brain to its final function only between 12 and 25 years old age. So as babies, we are at this level, the reptilian brain, the limbic brain or the mammalian brain, that level. And we act from that level. So we are acting mostly from our gut. And so we are, in many situations, we are reactive. But once we mature the prefrontal cortex, it is able to tell the limbic system, control it, and leash it in when it is overacting, and explain to it that, look, this is not a risky thing, this is not a bad thing, this is not a danger to you. There are different ways we can handle it. We have multiple options in order to handle it. Because, and I told you, the baby's brain starts developing very, very early. So the mother's attitude, the mother's behavior, our ancestral, our genetic component, all of these play a role in the way our brains function. The first foundation for the brain, which is called the neural tube, is laid at 3 weeks after conception. And the basic brain regions are formed by 10 weeks itself. So by the first trimester itself, the brain is beginning to function. And it is able to absorb and process. And in the period of processing, whatever inputs it gets through the mother and through environment through the mother, will start shaping the brain and how it's going to behave at birth or after. By 15 weeks, the structures in the brain start forming. And by 25 weeks, the brain, what the brain does is there's a process called synaptic pruning. If you notice, when a baby is born, the baby's head is bigger in proportion to the body than it needs to be. The reason is because our brains have got a lot of extra nerve cells formed. And once the pathways are set and once the things are finalized, the unnecessary extra brain is taken away. Now that is called synaptic pruning. 40 weeks when the baby is born, there is something called myelination which takes place, which channels and strengthens all these fibers. Okay? Are you all with me? Sita, please mute yourself, madam. And if you notice here, by the age of 5, most of our functions develop. And it goes on till about the age of 7. So our brains are almost completely programmed by the time we are 7 years old. Now, this is what is sitting in your subconscious mind. And as an adult, you function gut level from that. So all that is in the cortex or the prefrontal cortex or the neocortex is developed after that, and it's developed in a finer, better way only during adolescence, so that by 25, 26, our brains are fully mature. So remember that as a child, if you have children, please pay attention to this also. Our brains are like sponges. So whatever experiences, we just take it in. We don't know whether it's right or wrong, good or bad. We just take it. And the baby starts learning while in the womb itself. So it's the quality of the stimulation that the baby's brain gets from conception to age of 5 or 7 years old. So when you talk to children at that age, we don't pay attention sometimes to what words they're listening to. What are we discussing in front of the child? Are the parents fighting in front of the child? All of this can impact the child's brain at that stage when it's developing. And it's very important during that time to reassure the baby that while there are rules to be followed, there are certain concepts to be conformed to, you love them, and that there is a freedom, there is a creativity in them which they can grow. So 90% of brain growth happens before the age of 7. And during adolescence, I told you there is a lot of changes happening in the brain. The white matter or the connecting fibers between active areas of the brain increases. So the connections multiply. The gray matter, which is the actual station which is doing the job, may decrease because once each station has been given its role to play, like you do the motor movement, you do sensory movement, it is fine-tuned, consolidated, and made strong. It's not scattered in multiple areas. So to do that, the brain, the nerve cells which are in that area undergo what is called as myelination. If this is the nerve cell, this is the cell body, these are the connecting fibers, and this is the cell part called the axon, which goes to the next nerve cell and connects with it. This part can transmit the impulse from here to the next neuron very, very fast. But to make it go 100 times faster, it is covered by a fatty sheath so that there is no spillage of current. It's electrical, remember. Electrochemical waves is what the brain, how the brain works. So that there's no spillover of current and short circuiting, this myelinization or the laying down of the fatty sheath takes place. I also told you that's what is the axonal growth. And this axonal growth is happening maximally in the prefrontal cortex, in the amygdala, which is the deeper part of the limbic system, which is responsible for our emotions, and in the bridging tissue between the two hemispheres called the corpus callosum. Then because each one's role has been specified in this thing, there is no room for redundancy in nature. So whatever unnecessary cells or connections are there, they're literally cut away and made to wither and die. And that process is called synaptic pruning, and the brain actually shrinks in size and becomes more efficient with only the good functioning components in it. So at this stage, if you're not using the brain, the connection will wither and die away. So it's very, very important at this stage for that. But while all this process is going on in the teenager, most of their reaction is at the amygdala level or the limbic system. So they have still not developed the wisdom that some activities may be risky. So they want instant gratification. They want to enjoy the thrill. And they sometimes take unnecessary risks because they have less fear. And they tend to overthink. They also tend to over-evaluate themselves. And they are very, very social, and the limitless learning is possible when the brain is in this stage. Now, this is what all happens before we get into what is called as our adult brain. Now, this prefrontal cortex, I told you, it is till 25 years it grows. And because it's not fully grown, this ability to judge, to rationalize, etc., it's immature. And that is why they are prone to high-risk behavior. The amygdala, which is the emotional core for your passion, impulsivity, fear, aggression, etc., is more impulsive because it has not got the binding by the prefrontal cortex. The parietal lobe, which is the touch, sight, our senses, quite a lot about our senses, so is not fully developed yet. And so they don't process information effectively. So sometimes they'll misinterpret a facial expression. When a parent is actually looking sad because the child did something which was not appropriate, they will mistake it for anger. They will mistake it for condemnation. So sometimes they find it difficult to read facial expressions. And so it's very, very important to communicate appropriately with teenagers and actually tell them what it is you're wanting to do. And this part of the brain is the reward area of the brain, and that loves reward during this phase. Hippocampus is the memory learning. It's limitless during adolescence. And they just have a tremendous learning curve during that period. So from all this, you'll understand how powerful our minds are, how powerful our thinking is, both the subconscious awareness and all that we have collected over from conception onwards, and also what was programmed into us later in life. Now, on top of this adolescent brain, which has been biologically programmed, etc., we have all our experiences in our life, which further fine-tune this programming. So it is very powerful. And it can be a prison. Because if you have got into a negative thinking mode or I can't do it kind of mode, it's a very, very difficult prison to escape from. But you need to escape from that. It is possible. And when you escape from the prison of your mind and have an open mind and start doing things, that is resilience. The ability to do that is resilience. You have to decide whether you're going to have an outside-in approach where you are a victim or an inside-out approach. I will create my life. I will choose the options that I will do because I know myself well. So the first step in resilience is to get to know yourself well. You have to be very self-aware. And then from that awareness will spring your responses to whatever happens to you. Whereas if you depend upon what somebody said or whether that situation is big or small, whether it's happening to you or happening to 10 people, if you get into all this confusion and have an outside-in approach, you will end up being a victim. What is the difference between a victim and a creator? Victims tend to passively accept their fate. They view a problem as not being in their control. Their weaknesses limit them. And they feel inferior because they feel others can do it, I can't do it. Whereas if you're a creator, you regulate, you make the choices, you find ways to solve the problem, you find ways to improve yourself. And if you can't do whatever solve your problem, you learn how to get help from other people. So what we all need to do is move from this victim mode into survivor mode. Now, when bad things happen to us, we should not get stuck in the victim mode. And I feel that it's not enough just to be a survivor, but you have to learn to thrive. And in my book, you have to go even one step further and aspire to inspire from your bad experience or from your challenge. Like from my cancer experience, I am able to inspire others. And that is something I want to do before I expire. So before I die, I want to be able to inspire others based on my journey from not being a victim to cancer and not just being a mere survivor, but from thriving and moving to inspiring others. Because our destiny is not written for us. It is written by us. And that is what we have to all the time remember. We keep thinking that somebody else is determining. That is why my program, my initiative is called Creative Karma. Create your own destiny. Your karma is not pre-written. You can create your karma. So that is why my initiative is called Creative Karma. Now, to do that, there are stages. The first stage is you have to stop being who you are now. You have to create a new identity. If you're sitting in the old identity, you will think like the old identity and you're never going to change. So what you have to do is, first of all, make up your mind. I will not be this old me anymore. I am going to be a new me. And what is the new me? Remember, the new you is you are in charge of your life. You are the captain of your ship. You are not a deckhand where somebody is telling you, do this, do that, clean this. You are the captain. You call the shots. So you are the captain of your life. You are in charge of your life. The second identity you have to claim is that you are the sculptor of your own reality. Don't give the chisel and hammer to somebody else. You have the choice on what to make of your life. So make sure that you sculpt your own reality and don't let others make you become or do what they think you should be. The third thing is all change can be painful. All change takes time. Now, this is exactly like the butterfly coming out of the chrysalis or the cocoon from which it's a stage. So the egg becomes a caterpillar, caterpillar becomes the chrysalis, chrysalis becomes the butterfly. So if you have to emerge to your maximum potential, please remember that it's going to be painful. It's not going to be easy. So changing your identity is not going to happen overnight and it's not going to be easy. But if you make up your mind, if you take your prefrontal cortex and say, I will do it, I can do it, I will tame my amygdala, I will tame my subconscious whenever it gives me negativity. If you do that, you will find that even if it is painful, you grow. And just like the butterfly which is struggling and emerging out of the cocoon, you will also struggle through the change and come out victorious. At this juncture, I'd like to tell you a little story. There was a grandfather and a grandson sitting, and they were watching a butterfly emerging from the chrysalis. And the grandson was periodically getting upset and telling the grandfather, oh my God, that poor thing, it's suffering so much. I feel very bad. Oh my God, it's so hard. Won't it pain the grandpa? Won't it hurt it, grandpa? He went on. He was very upset. The grandpa gets called away inside for a few moments and he leaves the grandson alone with this emerging butterfly in the chrysalis to watch and goes away for a while. When he comes back, he finds the grandson sobbing. So he asks him, why are you crying? He said, no, you know what happened? The butterfly came out, but it's not flying. I think its wings are not developed properly. So the grandfather said, why do you think that is? He said, I feel I may be to blame because when the butterfly was struggling to come out from the chrysalis, I took a blade and cut the chrysalis to make it easier for it to come out. So the grandfather said, oh my God, that is the reason why that poor butterfly is not able to fly and it's going to die. So like that, sometimes we feel it's tough when we are struggling on our own. We want somebody to come and cut the chrysalis so that we can emerge. But if you emerge when you're not ready, you will not become the beautiful flying butterfly. You will be a butterfly whose wings are not yet developed. So when the universe is not giving something to you, every time you ask it to give it to you, understand, maybe it's not yet time for you to get that. So all of these thoughts, if you have, you will not quit. You will persevere. Now, perseverance and grit are qualities of resilience. So this will help you to remember this thought about perseverance and grit much better. Also remember that you are like an oak tree. You're very strong. Your roots are deeply embedded. If you build up those roots throughout your life, you become what I call a stress fit. And understand, the oak tree, which is sheltered by a lot of other trees and, kept from the sun and all that, the protected oak tree is less strong than the oak tree, which is out in the open, withstanding all the storms and all the, the harsh sun and all kinds of difficulties, which it learns over time that it has to get stronger So when the storms of life hit you, understand you are the captain of your ship. You have to navigate the storm. And you have to stand strong like the oak tree. Now, when you do all of this, that is resilience. And remember that even if you are at zero, you're in the ashes, you can rise and soar like the proverbial phoenix. The phoenix is a mythical creature which is said to have the capacity to rise from nothing and become everything. So we are no different. If you set your mind to it, you can rise from the ashes and soar. So we call a lot of things in our program as the phoenix phenomenon. The second thing that you need to change in your life if you want to get resilient is to change your story. What story are you telling yourself? Every time something happens, are you telling yourself, no, this is impossible. I am to blame. There's nothing I can do about this. I'm not good enough. I'm not capable enough. I don't have enough resources. I'm too old. I'm too young. I'm whatever. The biggest influence on human behavior is the story that we tell ourselves in our head. So if you change your story, now understand that, like making a movie, you are the hero of your story. You're also the director, the makeup man, the producer. You're everything for that story. So you decide to remain the hero of the story. How are you going to direct the movie? And for that, you have to tell yourself the right story to motivate you to carry on. So I'm going to tell you another story about the carrot, egg, or coffee bean. A mother and daughter were in the kitchen. The daughter had come to the mother's house because she was facing some problems. And she told the mother, look, Ma, I'm having these major problems and I need your help to resolve them or to find a solution to it. The mother continued cooking and she said, please put a saucepan on the fire, fill it with water. And when it comes to the boil, put a carrot, put an egg, and a few coffee beans into it. The daughter was actually quite irritated. And she thought, look here, I'm coming here with my life problems. And my mother is telling me to put a saucepan, and that too, she's asking me to put 3 totally unconnected things. I don't know what she can possibly make when she puts a carrot, egg, and a coffee bean together into the same saucepan. In spite of that irritation, she obeys. So after a while, the mother says, is the carrot cooked? Check if the carrot is cooked. She said, yes. She said, okay, turn off the flame and put the saucepan, bring the saucepan to the table, remove the carrot, the egg, and the coffee beans into a plate. So the daughter brings the saucepan to the table and she takes out the carrot, she takes out the egg, but she can't find the coffee beans because they've dissolved into the hot water. So she says, okay, I've done what you said. I've brought it, I've put it here. So the mother says, life happens to all of us. And in different situations, we need to respond differently. There is no uniform way in which we can respond. So like the carrot, we have certain things where we are very tough on the exterior. But when the challenge happens, we have to get soft inside to face that challenge. We have to drop this identity of this tough outer thing and get soft. So the carrot was hard when you put it into the water, and it has now become soft and mushy. So like that, when we are very tough stand we have on certain things, sometimes we have to become softer in order to respond to a particular situation. Then she said, crack open the egg and open it. She cracked open and found a hard-boiled egg. He says, there are other things in which we are very sensitive, we are very soft, we are very, approachable on the exterior. But the situation may require us to be hard. And like the egg, which was liquid when you put it into the water, and it has become hard-boiled after the challenge of being in the hot water, we also have to learn that we need to maybe take a tough stand. Sometimes we are very soft. Like, for instance, we allow some people to take advantage of us. We allow them to walk over us. We allow them to bully us. So there is a time when you will need to harden up and say, enough, put your boundaries, say no, and enough is enough. So you have to learn to get hard from time to time. But ideally, the best way to face life's difficulties, their daughter says, I can't find the coffee beans. She said, look in the water. In the water, the coffee beans had dissolved. So she said, the best way to respond in life is to be like the coffee bean. Dissolve, blend, go with the flow. Just accept the situation for what it is. Understand that it will be the way it is. It is how you learn to work with it or how to blend with it that will determine the way you handle that challenge or situation. So now I will again open up the videos. Now tell me, are you a carrot, egg, or a coffee bean? Chitra?
I don't think I am any of these.
Okay, Ramesh?
All the three, madam. In certain
You're a little
respect,
bit of all three.
A
Yep.
little bit of all three.
Okay. Aisha?
Yes, ma'am. I accept, ma'am. Coffee bean.
You're trying to be coffee bean.
Yes, ma'am.
Trying to
Okay.
be.
Mr. Venugopal?
Mostly coffee bean. Definitely in certain scenario, you have to become the carrot or the egg, depending on the situation. Because we need to handle scenarios as per their conditions also, because they will not be able to see our perception. And the way we are handling, they might like it or may not like it. So definitely as per the scenario, we have to change. Like we have been harsh with children also, like small children, we create the fake anger so that they
Correct.
understand. But we all know that we are not angry. So something like that.
Yeah, it's necessary to be like all three.
Yes.
It's not a question of which one are you. You have to be a little bit of everything depending on the situation. Prithika, you want to participate? My namesake. Do you want to participate, Prithika? Okay, right. I told you earlier that there is something known as AQ or adversity quotient. Sorry. Or adversity quotient. Now, what is this adversity quotient? It is about how you respond to life, especially the tough stuff. And we saw just now in the carrot, egg, and bean story that the hot water is the challenge. And each one, the carrot, the egg, and the coffee beans, the response was different. So you need to have a range of responses in order to have a good adversity quotient. And the way you respond and deal with everything, right from the little hassles in our daily life to big adversities, are what is adversity quotient is all about. It is a very established science. It's something, and you can understand that the more resilient you are, the more effectively and constructively will you respond, and the higher will be your adversity quotient. Now, for adversity quotient, the building blocks of adversity quotient are very neurobiological. It involves your cognitive psychology, your cognitive thinking. I told you all the programming that you've undergone. It involves your brain functions, which has formed certain habits, etc. So your neurophysiology is important. Then the psychoneuroimmunology, which is the spirit, mind, brain, body, immune system connection. So all of these have to play a role. And you'll find that if you have a high adversity quotient and a high ability to be resilient, your health also will be better. Your immune system will be better. That is why in the beginning I said, this is all about taking charge of your health and well-being. When we talk about all these things, usually people look at it as personal development. Personal development is an automatic result that you will get when you take charge of your health and well-being in this manner. Now, in adversity quotient, we have three categories. We have those who never take up the challenge. They are the quitters. There are those who take up the challenge, go halfway, and up to a point they're able to manage, but beyond that, they need either to be pulled or pushed, and they never reach the top of the mountain. A handful of us, we keep going, come what may, and we become the climbers. Now, if you see the general population, it has been found that 18% of us are quitters. Only 28% of us are climbers. But majority of us are campers. So what we should work on doing is, all my initiatives, my programs are aimed mainly at this group. For this group, they will only change, or they only will be made, can be converted into a camper and then into maybe a climber only with one-to-one coaching. They cannot be changed or improved by this kind of general group coaching. The campers can be. So our target audience are all the campers. And how? Even if you move by 1% every day, it will compound into a fantastic transformation over a year. The next aspect that we have to understand about life is, life has seasons. So just like the seasons, spring, summer, autumn, winter happen around us, life is full of change. Everything in nature changes. And we need to embrace the season of our life. Now, if you go and plant paddy in the winter, will it grow? It won't. So you have to change yourself and behave in an appropriate fashion in various seasons of your life. So if you look at the springs, and we all have springs, it doesn't necessarily have to come in order. Sometimes you may be having a little bit of spring and a little bit of autumn happening at the same time in your life. It's just a metaphor. So in spring, what we are saying is, it's a time for you to be thinking dynamically, to learn, time of opportunity. You're excited, you have a sense of purpose, you have direction, you're developing new skills and habits, you're learning, you're understanding yourself better, etc. It's a very active, rejuvenating kind of time. In summer, you're reaping the rewards of your spring season. You're fulfilled, you're celebrating, you're full of courage, you're full of confidence, you're very passionate about what you're doing. Your decisions are fantastic. You take some risks in order to achieve your goals. And you capitalize on opportunities. You're very, very alert and, gung-ho with it. In autumn, we have these phases in our lives. There'll be problems. There'll be mistakes. There'll be transition, disappointment, stress, frustration, pessimism. We are not sure if we are doing the right thing. And we tend to just slip into a comfort zone and say, no, I can't do more. I've had enough. The winter season is when you are going through a phase where you really can't do anything else. You have to take rest. You have to regroup. You have to redirect yourself, plan, reflect, see how to change your strategy so that life goes better. You may regret some things. You may be afraid of some things. You may feel sad about certain things. So you may be sad, mad, glad, whatever. And you start trying to change your habits. Now, if you are now going through this program with me, or you choose to continue doing a more intensive program with me in the future, it will be a little bit of that. Probably you're either in spring or summer, but you're not moving fast enough. And so you need a little bit of winter and you need a little bit of autumn now, so that you can regroup and proceed further. So we have to learn how to live with the seasons. And remember that all that I said so far can be taught, can be learned. It is not rocket science. You just need guidance. You just need to know how to do it. And it's a question of changing your mindset. But like I told you, it takes time. It requires perseverance. It requires grit. It needs you to hold on there till the finish line. So all of that is necessary, and it's not easy, but it can be learned, and it can be bring about change in anyone if they set their mind to it and make the right choices and follow the mentor's guidance. Who are we? My name is Dr. Prithika Chary. Creative Karma was made for people to lead better and happier lives, making the most of what they've got to be there to reach their maximum potential. Here, the overwhelming philosophy is Karma Yoga. Now, in Karma Yoga, yoga is the yoga of action. Without worrying about the result, you do what you have to do it in the best way you can, do it 100% in the spirit of the divine. So do everything with full effort, joy, love, compassion. And don't worry about the fruits of action, because that will happen automatically. So Karma Yoga is a way to realize one's divinity through unselfish actions. There are other types of yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Raja Yoga, Jnana Yoga, which we're not going into. But the philosophy of creative karma is that I will keep creating. Those will be unselfish actions. I will create good karma for myself and realize my divinity. So make your life a prayer. I say do everything that you do is a living prayer. We've used to do offline workshops. This was what we did for a women's club in Kuala Lumpur. We did a power thinking workshop here for a mixed group. We did something called the Complete You workshop. We did another workshop called Power Thinking. So we've done a lot of offline workshops, and you can see here 2014, etc. So the whole goal of all these activities is to recognize that all our brains, I told you the reptilian brain's job is to protect you. So our brain has a negativity bias. It's like Velcro for the bad things. It goes and sticks. And like the non-stick pan Teflon, the good bounces off. So we have to learn to use our prefrontal cortex to create positive experiences to override the negative bias of the amygdala and the basal ganglia. Now, this is sometimes not 1:1. It may take 6 to 8 positive experiences to override one negative experience. So it is hard work. It doesn't just happen easily, because we have filters in our brain. And what these filters do is, whatever comes, because there's an overload of information being put on the brain. So the brain has to learn to sift it and take what is needed. So we have 3 filters according to neuro-linguistic programming. One is where you delete. You say, okay, right now I'm taking a class. I don't need to think about my lunch. I don't need to think about what my clinic is going to be like tomorrow, etc. The second is distortions. Based on my subconscious programming, I may interpret something that somebody comes to tell me or do for me with a distortion. I may interpret it in my way. So that is why we say accept people as they are, not the way you want them to be. Because the way you want them to be may be subject to the bias of a distortion filter. Or it may also be this thing under the influence of the bias of generalization. All women are bad drivers. Now that's a generalization, which comes from some previous thought process you've had. So we must be alert that our brains are functioning with all of this happening inside it. And this is what I bring to the table when I do this kind of coaching. Because I'm a brain expert and I'm able to give you the brain neurobiology, the background on actually what is happening when you're going through these experiences. I hope that it's not too much science. Earlier, I've been simplifying. So sometimes people end up saying there's a lot of science. But for those who are interested, you understand, when you understand what is actually going on inside, you're better able to accept when somebody says, do this, do that. And cognitive distortions can happen where we have a double standard. We We imagine what somebody is thinking about us. We make everything into a catastrophe. We have our own concept of what is fair, what life is unfair to me. We have our own, labeling. Or, the black-white controversy in the US is very much a question of labeling based on skin color. So what you need to learn to do is to play the game of life as an adventure. Imagine you're going on a safari. The tiger is there in the bush. The tiger can attack. We know that. That is what your reptilian brain is going on telling you, and is searching for the danger, searching for the tiger in the bush. But understand, sometimes the tiger will be just sitting quietly here. He's not going to get up and attack you at all. And when your prefrontal cortex is guiding you and telling you, true, the tiger is there, but right now that's not an issue. So don't get stressed. You can watch it. You can be alert that it is there, but you can still handle whatever this challenge is, whatever this adversity is, whatever this trauma is, whatever this stress is. Because another thing which I tell people is take life as fun. That's why I use the analogy of a roller coaster. Now, in the roller coaster, you get a thrill in the end. And for that thrill, you experience the fear, you scream, you do all that, everything. So struggle, if you make struggle fun, just like pulling a rope here in a tug of war, life is meant to be enjoyed, not endured. So what you should learn to do is view it as an adventure. View struggle as fun. Okay, what am I going to learn from this? Let me see. Will you get the better of me? I'm going to get the better of you. I'm going to make my comeback better than my setback. Let's see what you've got. Dish it out. Let me handle it. So if you take it with that attitude, you'll find that it's far easier instead of allowing it to overwhelm you and make you succumb. So we have 9 steps for turning adversity to advantage. Now, these steps will produce tangible results in the short term. They'll motivate you to start and continue your journey, and will be followed consistently in the long term and give you visible transformation. Step 1 in our program is we do mindfulness training. Now, mindfulness is focusing on your breath awareness, your body scan, mindful eating, doing a lot of activities in the day with a present awareness. Now, I want all of you to just work with me for this. So, one second. Yeah. Open up your screens. I will take you through a small mindfulness exercise. And this is just a breath-focused mindfulness. It's not a big deal. It's just going to take a few minutes. So close your eyes. Sit with your spine straight. Keep your palms open on your thighs. Take a few deep breaths. Take a deep breath and exhale. Another deep breath and exhale. One more deep breath and exhale. Now I want you to just breathe normally and pay full attention to your breath. Feel the air going in through your nostril. Feel the air coming out. Feel it being cool when it enters, warm when it comes out. And just stay completely focused only on the breath. Don't think of any mantra. Don't worry if thoughts come. Just simply focus on the breath. And enjoy the feeling. And fill yourself with gratitude that you're able to breathe. The importance of the breath was highlighted to all of us during COVID. So be grateful that you're able to breathe. Fill your heart with gratitude. Stay completely focused only on your breath. Okay. Now slowly open your eyes. Now what you'll understand is mindfulness is about being in the present moment. Mindfulness is different from meditation. In meditation, you're trying not to be aware of your surroundings. In mindfulness, you're being consciously aware of all that is happening at the moment. And you're learning to savor it, break it down into elements, and enjoy that sensation. So, whether it is breathing, whether it is bathing, whether it is eating, all of these can improve your mindfulness and can be done mindfully. So when you're bathing, for instance, when the shower water is falling on you, feel the sensation of that cold or warm water falling on you. Feel it trickling down. Feel that sensation of how nice it feels when you adjust the power of the shower. Feel all that. Just savor that completely. That is what mindfulness is. And in our programs, the step 2, we take you through, we'll be teaching you mindfulness and giving you specific activities of mindfulness to do. The step 2 is we teach you certain stress management techniques, like how to journal, how to express your emotions, how to ask yourself certain questions. We'll give you journal prompts. We'll take you through guided imagery. Now, guided imagery is something where we take you into a place in nature by guidance, and then you just revel in it. If we have the time, I will try to end with a guided image. The step 3 that we do is we emphasize what are the foods which are good for your brain. And step 3 is about learning what is the right foods for your brain. Step 4, how physical exercise impacts your mental health. So it has been shown that emotionally sensitive people, 71% of them practiced physical exercise. Those who did not exercise, they had quite a lot of brain changes. Runners have very good brains because there is something called the brain-derived neurotropic factor, which is produced in the brain. An average period of exercise, which is good on a daily basis, is about 20 to 25 minutes. Then we also take you through step 5, where we give you strategies like taking off the filters, etc., to sharpen your memory, to improve your focus, to improve your mental clarity. There'll be little brain games. We'll teach you how to use acronyms and mnemonics to remember things better. And we'll give you some visualization exercises. Step 6 is we'll teach you how to improve on your sleep. What are the factors that can disturb your sleep? What are the phases of sleep? All of that will be taught. In the emotional regulation, we will teach you how to control your attention, how to reassess or reappraise your cognitive interpretation of things, and how to modulate the way you respond to people and situations. And we'll give you emotion-focused coping strategies. And very importantly, we'll teach you to love yourself and be compassionate and kind to yourself, which surprisingly many of us don't do. Step 8, there will be some positive psychology interventions, one of which the most important, which I've been doing for 35 years, is gratitude documentation. I not only write 3 to 10 things I'm grateful for every morning, I also throughout the day keep saying thank you for a lot of little things that happen in my life. Gratitude is great food for the brain. It generates what is called as endorphins, or the anti-stress hormone, into the brain. Positive affirmations are useful. Then we'll teach you how to put all this together, help you to set goals and plan and have an action plan for what you need to do. And how do we do this? We do this through 5 processes. The first one is through awareness, where we teach you to recognize your limiting beliefs which are blocking you, to identify what are the possible triggers which are preventing you from progressing, and understand the neurological impact of these things. The second method is we give you actually strategy. We tell you to set realistic goals. We'll teach you certain specific resilience techniques. We'll help you to create a personalized action plan. The third method is we do skill building. We teach you definite practicing, learn skills that you can learn. We teach you how to improve your emotional intelligence and implement the stress management. The next step in progression is, the integration of all this information into you. How you can apply skills in your daily life. One of the very important things is we'll take some daily hassles and ask you how you can give the uplift to that. If it's pulling you down, like let us say traffic. Traffic is a daily hassle for many of us. So we'll give you little exercises like that where you can start applying skills in daily life. Then we'll be monitoring, we'll be adjusting the plan, we'll give you feedback, we'll get feedback from you, we'll refine it further. And the end, what happens? You get mastery. So you'll have resilience mastery and you'll have long-term habits. You'll foster continued growth. And all of us will then end up celebrating the fantastic milestones that you achieve. Understand that for all of us in life, we need these 4 S's. When we have a short-term focus, we are thinking of survival, we are thinking of stability. All of us want security. In Maslow's hierarchy of needs, the first thing is physiological needs, that is food, water, shelter, etc. And then is safety and security. So all of us need that stability. So in the short-term focus, if your short-term needs are not yet met, you're in survival mode. When you get to stability, your short-term needs are met. So you're feeling safe, you're feeling secure, you're feeling stable. And survival is something that you need. The needing and the having are the balance that we try to spread. So when you succeed, what happens? You want significance. All of us want a sense of meaning in life. We want to know that we matter. And we also realize that we have something to give to the world. So you need to give back. But what happens when you are successful and you have everything? Your long-term focus is about giving back, as well as you want more for others and you have a lot, and so you're very generous and able to share it with the people. So through this program, what you will be doing is you will be moving from survival to stability to success to significance. And that is the goal of the programs that we do and all the work that we do in Creative Karma and Be Your Best with Dr. Prithika Chary. So what you have to learn to do is what I am doing now in my life. Surrender to the magical flow of life. Everything is as it should be. You will find your answers. You just do your bit. You play your role in life. You keep going. Whether somebody is with you or without you, it's fine. If somebody helps you, fine. If they don't help you, fine. If they pull you down, fine. Doesn't matter. It's like going from point A to point B. Whether there's a traffic jam or whether there's a rut in the road or whether there's an accident, I want to go from A to B, I go. I will make sure I go and reach B. So your life is just the same. So if you're interested in learning and implementing these 9 steps, we'll have a bigger program later on. But in my 2-day WhatsApp class, which I'm doing next weekend, Saturday and Sunday, Saturday it is 6 to 8 p.m. and Sunday it's 11 to 1 p.m. It's only $4.99. Join my WhatsApp group called 10x Transformation. Or if this is the payment, raise a payment link. This is the link for joining the 10x WhatsApp group. I'm going to put both these into the chat right now. And if you're interested, please click on it and do the needful. So I really hope that all of you have had some value for spending the time with me. And I'm truly grateful that all of you took time off. You could have been doing anything. You could have been anywhere. And I hope I've made a difference to you, because I love going mad every day, making a difference. MAD is an acronym for making a difference. So in some way, somewhere, somehow, I try to make a difference for the better in somebody's life every single day of my life. So thank you once again. And with immense gratitude, I hope that your lives are beautiful, and may God bless you all.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, madam. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Now
Thank you
I
so much,
want
ma'am.
I want all of you to let me put this in the chat box first. Yes, this is the link for the WhatsApp class. If you are interested in joining, you can just click on that link and it will take you to the payment thing. And I will also put the link for the WhatsApp group where you can get regular updates on whatever programs that we do. Pardon my not being very fast because I'm okay with technology, but sometimes I need a little more speed. I think you'll forgive me for that. Yeah. Oh dear. Now, this is the WhatsApp group that you can join. Anybody can join, you can join, your friends can join, whatever. And you'll get regular updates on what we do. All our programs. So now are there any questions, doubts, comments? I put gallery view so I can see all of you.
May I ask a question, madam?
Sure.
See, the energy level is so different, so diverse. Sometimes we feel we are the captain of our ship, taking full charge of our emotions and everything. Nothing can shatter us. We are in that mood for some time. For example, for me, the morning part will be, I will be like a king. Nothing can disturb me. But after finishing off my work and coming home, all the energy gets drained. And unconsciously, I do a lot of things, binge watching, binge eating, this and that. And we regret later that we have wasted a hell a lot of time in all unproductive activities. How to address this issue, madam?
Why do you think it's happening?
Lack of, what do you call, focus.
Is it
Going
lack
to
of focus?
a level of
Is it lack of focus?
no focus at all. We resign to
No. Whole morning you're a king. You're capable of focus. It's not
Yes.
that you're not capable of focus. You're capable of focus.
Yes.
Whole morning you were a king. So what do you think is happening?
I don't know.
Okay. So when I said you take charge of your health and well-being, everything is energy. Please understand. And energy management is the trick. And energy management comes from one, having that identity of power, two, from telling yourself the right story, three, which will make you do the appropriate actions of time management, energy management, etc. And what you give importance to. Telling the story, what story you're telling yourself is what are you giving importance to? So you're giving 300% importance to your work or whatever that's keeping you like a king in the morning. The rest of the day, you're not even planning. You're not even setting an intention for. So that is where the journaling helps. So if you create some kind of pattern, some kind of ritual, how do fitness freaks go to the gym so faithfully? In fact, some of them, as soon as they get up, even before brushing their teeth, they wear their sneakers. Then only go brush their teeth. Or they go to sleep in their jogging dress in the night, get up in the morning, wear their sneakers, brush their teeth and run, go off. So you have to create. That is where in our program, in our protracted programs, see what we are doing is we are creating now a membership program. Okay. Now, when you join this WhatsApp class, what we'll be doing is we will be adjusting that amount as a deposit towards the membership program. Now, the membership program is a membership for 3 months, where it will cost 15,000 rupees. And this will adjust into that as a deposit. Also, if during the WhatsApp class, I'm going to be teaching you 2 skills, the mindfulness and the stress management coping strategies. If you do the exercises and do the thing and learn it, we will give you 1,000 bonus points. Okay? For each skill that you master, you will get 1,000 bonus points. So what will happen? You master 2 skills out of the 9 skills. So if after that you decide to continue your journey with us into the membership, you will get a 2,500 rupee discount out of 15,000 as a reward. So your WhatsApp class becomes free for you. You like that offer?
Yes, ma'am. We'll see.
But it is based on you producing your result. And
Fine.
when you produce your result and you decide to come into that journey, you get the reward.
Yes, ma'am. I understand.
You understand?
Yes.
So
Yes.
I am very disappointed that we don't have enough numbers attending these programs, but I've YouTube streamed it for that purpose. So please tell your friends to go and see that stream, and also encourage them to join in for this. Some of those who are attending here would have already got the messages, or you join the 10X transformation WhatsApp group. It will be posted there, or share that link which I put in for the WhatsApp class, and let us form a bigger community. Tell me now, what is the feedback on this? Today's session, what benefit did you all get?
No, it's a consolidation of already known principles and an inspiration to practice what is known to us, and reinforcing the right way of living.
Yeah. Chitra, உனக்கு என்னமா?
எனக்கு என்ன
You've
rebrushing
already been with us. You've been
Yeah.
with us in previous
rebrushing
programs.
இப்ப வந்து இதுல நான் இன்னைக்கு வந்து என்னன்னா gratitude throughout the day சொன்னேன் இல்லையா, that I thought okay, it's going to be easy. ராத்திரி உட்காந்து எழுதுறதுக்கு பதிலா இதுவே practice பண்ணா it's going to bring mass improvement.
See, supposing you go out somewhere, you enjoy a nice meal
Yeah.
or something, or you go out with some friends, you have a good time. I always say, thank you, God, for all these friends, for having
Yeah.
this good thing. Thank you, God, for this. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm all the time saying thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, and thank you. Supposing you woke up and normally you have a joint pain or something like that, and today you didn't have the joint pain.
Yeah.
You can say thank you for that.
Yeah, sure.
So you can say thank you for everything. Thank you for இன்னைக்கு மழை பெய்யாம நல்ல hot warm day. I wanted to go out. I wanted to do shopping. I was able to do my shopping.
Yeah.
If you look for it, you can say thank you for anything.
That's so many. Yeah, sure.
And how is this thing going? Your confidence and all that after previous session?
Yeah. ஒரு மாதிரி போயிட்டு இருக்கு. Streamline
You're
பண்ணிட்டு
more
இருக்கு.
expressive. You're more expressive.
Yeah, I'm more expressive, more confident,
Right.
less of negativity.
Okay. All right.
I'm waiting to see results on my health now.
Okay. Mr. Venugopal, I'd appreciate your. Oh, he left. Okay, I wanted his feedback. Okay. Bindu, you joined late, madam, but it's all right. What is your feedback? And where have you joined from? Bindu?
Yes.
Some people are. Yeah.
Ma'am.
How did you know about this program, madam?
Sorry. Actually, yeah, I was from the women neurologist. I just happened to scroll the WhatsApp of the women neurologist. So in that it was written. I was about to tell you that I don't know whether I had scrolled it late. That's why I seen. Yesterday I had gone through that WhatsApp, but it was not seen. So if it was early, if I could get this, I could have
I put
really
it. No,
planned my today being
that was
a
an
holiday.
impulsive decision to put it to that group this morning. I just did it few minutes before the session, but don't worry. This is streamed on YouTube. You can go and watch the whole program there.
Okay, no
So you can
problem.
put Dr. Prithika Chary, Foundations of Resilience, and you will get this put on the YouTube. And
Okay,
if
madam,
need be,
okay.
I'll share it in the women neurologist group.
Okay, okay,
You're
ma'am.
logging
What
in
I
from where,
liked
ma'am?
about madam, I have joined Miyot
Sorry?
Miyot
Miss
Hospital here, Chennai.
Miyot. Okay, Miyot
In
Hospital.
Miyot Hospital, Chennai.
Okay, okay.
What I
You
like
were
about
about
your program is because I've known you
your voice is breaking, ma'am.
since long. I never known that your struggles break. Okay. Now, madam.
Now we can hear. Earlier, I didn't get what you said.
Okay. So, like there are a lot of programs now everywhere. But what I liked about your program is because you are practicing what you are preaching. Which there's so many teachers in and around who even in the West also who give how to live and all those things, but then we have not known about their personal story. But having known your personal story, and I mean it's like an open book now. So I mean there's no secrets. I mean everything that you had been telling everybody else to do, you had already done. I think
Thank you for that.
I am just 25 years younger to you, but then I have a long way to go. So I was thinking at 50, I have not, learned about all those things that you had learned about in life. So, I mean, it's always better to be proactive than reactive. So I should learn the art of living from people like you. That's why I liked your program, madam.
Thank you very much for that. Thank you. Okay. Bye, everybody. I'll stop recording and get off the YouTube also.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
Thank
Bye.
you, ma'am.
God bless all
Bye.
of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.